Hello, founders and everyone else. This is Ed Kang. We are coming to you from Spark Labs by ARK Invest. Today, I've got some real special guests here. I've got Nicolas, founder and CEO of CodeBoxx Technology and Company. Nicolas, give us a quick thumbnail about who you are, what CodeBoxx is, and then introduce the rest of your team. We've got a lot of things we want to talk about, specifically about agentic AI, the AI agent economy. We got it all for you, but let's do a bit of an introduction.
Well, thanks for having us, Ed. Truly appreciate the opportunity. We are at Spark Lab, we're CodeBoxx. So CodeBoxx is an AI native software development platform, both in terms of tool and workforce. So we deploy a workforce that we train ourselves through what we are the most proud of is our academy. And I have with me today Cody and Brian, who are representing that academy. So Brian is the director of the CodeBoxx Academy, and Cody is my outcome and success management representative. There's no better way to say it. They turn around the lives of the people who put their trust into CodeBoxx. And that's the one thing that fulfills us and makes us the most proud is we see sometimes unexperienced individuals walk into CodeBoxx. They learn the ways of tech, they learn the latest tools in agentic coding and AI native software development, and they get a career right after that. They are just as worthy and successful as people who have like 5, 10 years of senior experience now because of what they know and because of who they are. Brian, do you wanna say more to that?
I'd love to. I absolutely love my job every day. When people ask me, what do? I literally make dreams happen. When I get a chance to speak to people and I ask them, what do you want out of life? I rarely hear somebody talk about millions and billions of dollars. They want a home. They want security. They want work that gives them purpose. I am privileged and honored to be in a position where I get to combine tech and education to be able to bring these outcomes to our neighbors every day.
Cody, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm actually a product of CodeBoxx Academy. So just a year ago, I was still in the workforce in the restaurant industry. I've been bartender my whole life, and I came to CodeBoxx, and now I'm an AI native developer. And I came on with CodeBoxx because I believe in the mission.
That's fantastic. I've had the pleasure of experiencing CodeBoxx myself down at Spark Labs. I've learned so much already, and everybody around me is benefiting. I can't appreciate what you've done enough. I've heard the stories. I had a great chat with Brian. He was telling me some fantabulous stories. Look forward to unpacking that, but I wanted to jump into this. Right now, we are at a crazy inflection point in startups, in technology, software, you name it. The markets, like it has just been a roller coaster. And we got this slide here. On the left, we got traditional software development, the old way, slower, more costly. There's change afoot, and now we're in AI native agentic software development. It's the new way, faster, cost effective. I'd love for all of you to share your perspective. What is going on? Why is this slide so important for us?
Well, it's important because right now we're sitting in a world that is literally split in two. There are the people out there who are developing software like we did it in 2022. Their currency is coders. And there was a labor shortage in experienced and competent coders. And it forced people to outsource the role. So this is why you were saying, like, for years, you've seen this movement of offshoring to India, Latin America, Pakistan, the Philippines. Like all of our coders were coming from those places. It has consequences when you outsource your doers that way. When generative AI broke out and when it matured enough for agentic coding to become reliable and productive, it started coding better than any human being. And when that happened, the currency for software development switched from coding to tokens. The fuel of AI is tokens. And that inference computing allows to generate code in record time, from UI to user experience to business rules to data storage to analytics to development operations. All of this has completely shifted. And one person now, trained by Cody and Brian, can actually be at the head of a team of 10, 15 people. They can use a tool that we built at CodeBoxx that's called CrewKit. They can get on that tool and orchestrate the development of an entire platform on their own. All they have to do, and that's where the burden is shifted, is they ask for the right things, and they need to make sense of the output that the box has given them. That's where the burden has shifted. It's no longer 90% coding, it's 10% coding, and 90% consciousness, care, compliance, scalability, cybersecurity, all of the things that we take very serious responsibility in teaching at CodeBoxx in our programs.
You yourself, you are a senior developer engineer. You've had a lifetime of experience doing this. What made you make the switch? Because I know a lot of engineers who are still struggling with this switch. What was that like for you?
You're right. I've been at it since 1985. So I learned coding on a Tandy 1000 that was connected to my TV, and I was saving my basic programs on a cassette tape. Okay, so
Yeah,
this like I've seen it all.
sure.
And I went through five revolutions. I went through the desktop revolution, then we went through the web revolution, then we went through the cloud revolution, mobile revolution, and yes, it had impacted my the way I code and the way I develop software every single time. Like it did in some sort reset the skill set every single time, but not in such sheer magnitude as this revolution is doing right now. And what made me do the jump is when I realized that what cost me months and teams to build could be built today with $3,000 worth of tokens and one good mind who understands the business rules, the rubber hitting the road nature of what the platform we're building, and how to operationalize it so that it scales and it's compliant and that people can trust it. Because you still need human accountability when you deploy software. So what made me adopt it is the sheer speed at which I can please my customers by just doing it that way.
Now, Cody, you are a product of this and proof. You went from bartender and now you are developing AI native applications, which is so crazy. You just think about the barrier of entry that used to exist. My son right now has an open claw terminal sitting on his desk. He's building me my second brains, all my agents. It is insane what's going on. Cody, for you, what's that like to go from, hey, I've never done this before, to now just being literally a founder? Like you have all the capabilities to work as a software engineer. Walk us through what it's like. How do you feel?
It's exciting, Ed. I've grown up always interested in tech, a big nerd, and I'll throw it out there. I never really had the opportunity to be able to, have the funds to go to college, any type of opportunity like that. So the fact I was able to come to CodeBoxx and grind through this program, it wasn't easy, right? But now I'm at the point where I'll have to say this. 2 weeks ago, I built and developed an app, a devotional app for a friend of mine who's an author. I built it in 1 weekend. It's live right now. So it's crazy, and that was my first experience with Claude Code. Actually getting to get my hands on it and try it, it completely blows my mind. I still can't believe that I'm doing this and I have the opportunity to do this. And like now any idea that I have, I can build, and I have the learning, the safety of it, obviously, and being able to understand what's going on as well.
Now, Brian, you are pumping out these kids. That's what it feels like. I'm an OG like Nicholas way back in the day. You're seeing this new thing. You've told me some crazy stories of how lives are being transformed. You got me super excited. Curious, what do you think is the secret? Like for all the other Codys out there, like for example, like tech heads who say, I want to be a startup founder, but I've never built anything. Instead of going out and getting a technical co-founder, let's go and just run through CodeBoxx and let's do this. Like, what's your advice to all the other Codys thinking about this?
Yeah, thanks, Ed. And first, Ed, with love, I am going to correct you. We teach people out of high school. We teach veterans. We teach mothers. We do not teach kids. That's something I've had to catch myself on very early. And there was actually a really humorous situation when I was talking to somebody who completed a full career, was retired, was
Wow.
5 years my senior, and I found myself calling this individual a kid, right? And I think part of what we need to redefine in the workforce is seeing the skills that already exist in our people.
Right on, right on.
For the landscaper, for Cody, the individual who worked long hours in a demanding place with a very limited ceiling, this individual has a resiliency, which is the number one thing you need to succeed today. The second thing is curiosity. You need curiosity and resiliency to succeed in the AI landscape. Let me tell you something, Ed. We recently placed 7 people from all facets of life. And I ask the people who are building these teams, how do you build a team? How do we define entry level and senior when the most effective tools are only 6 months old? What he told me is, Brian, these tools that are only 6 months old, Claude Code, Google AI Studio, These are giving us so much value that I need people who can do them now, who are energetic and enthusiastic about hopping on that train. And this is the part that's really visionary. They said not only do they need people who are good at using these most powerful tools that have come out in the last 6 months, they recognize that 6 months from now, there will be tools that are exponentially more powerful. And they need to build a team right now that can succeed in that future to come. And in that future to come, those tools will be new, they will be wide encompassing, and they will be difficult. They will require people who will be curious enough to dive into them and play. It will require somebody who's resilient enough that when they see a screen full of red errors, they can break them down one by one and put them into their Gemini and figure out where they're going wrong.
Everyone, the CodeBoxx story is so inspiring. I just encourage you, come hang out with us down at Spark Labs ARK Invest and just listen to these stories. But I want to reference this research that came out from Kathy Wood's group, ARK Invest, and obviously our association. We get the pleasure of interacting with their analysts and listening to everything they've got. And if you download the Big Ideas report for 2026, really talking about the AI consumer operating system, talking about how AI models and AI agents are going to change the way that we do commerce. We are barreling towards AI agents doing business with our AI agents. It's going to require all the protocols, facilitating all the online consumption. They're making a bet on this the same way that ARK Invest talked about how we're going to see less SaaS happening, people punching
Yeah.
buttons in seats, just everything. We've got members working with AI search, LLM visibility, and ranking, super exciting stuff, and talking about how these AI agents are not only helping us, but also productivity. And this is the question that I have for all of you to talk about in terms of this doom and gloom, scary scenario where AI is coming for all our jobs. We saw Block lay off half of its staff. 5,000 because of AI. Jack Dorsey's like, everyone knew this is coming. We're just going to do this. What are your thoughts? Because I know a lot of people are scared. What would you say to those individuals who are feeling disrupted?
It's trendy right now to say I was able to lay off 8% of my workforce because of AI efficiency. The market sees that as a proof of competency. Sees that like, oh, they started exploring, they started lining up a few successes, and it translates into productivity, which can translate into savings. So the market kind of likes that narrative. They liked it in 2025. I think it's going to spill over in 2026. But what we're also seeing is that there is a cultural tax or a cultural price to pay when you lay off people, because when you lay people off, maybe you get rid of outdated skills, but you also get rid of culture. And these people had purpose ingrained into them. They had your guiding principles. They had your mission and your vision, and they were dedicated to that. And by laying them off, you send a weird message to the market saying like, hey, culture is not that important after all. It's like savings matter more. So
Klarna experienced this. They laid off. They said we saved $60 million. Now they're hiring everybody back because turns out their customers don't want to talk to AI for customer service.
yeah. Well, so that's also because Klarna did it wrong and they fell on their face, and they should have like done it better, because agentic AI it's a real business. Like it's an expertise. You need to do it right. There are 4 pillars to this. Like we could do a whole podcast about that. I'm looking forward to it. But the one thing is, and the effect we see on CodeBoxx per se is people see this and they see this as a threat. They're like, oh my God, I'm outskilled. I'm outsmarted by machines and by inference computing now. So I gotta learn the ways of AI. Like I gotta bridge my skills gap. So we have people getting into CodeBoxx, taking on the course, like already developers, like they just bridge that skills gap, and they secure their position doing that, because now they're on the other side of that chasm that you shared earlier. The best example we had of that happened to us in January. Like Brian placed 7 people at Video Amp, and there's a list being assembled today from Video Amp. They're going to ask CodeBoxx to train and bridge the skills gap of their workforce there, because it created FOMO.
Brian, what I'm hearing just listening to you is CodeBoxx and these skills is like strapping a productivity jetpack to an individual, but at the same time, amplifying what Nicolas was talking about, their culture, their contribution, their leadership, who they are, their essence. And if you have people who have had life experience, let's say they're domain experts, and you slap this jetpack on them, send them through CodeBoxx, and now they can be massively ultra productive. We're talking a game changer. You must be watching this happen unfold real time right before your eyes.
Real time, really fast, and it really gives me hope for the future of where we are in workforce. We have these tools that are so powerful that anybody who has any kind of experience, expertise, or skill set can use them to amplify it to provide value to a team. And what we're seeing is we're seeing people who are building teams at a large level. They're doing two things. Yes, some are creating costs. Others are seeing the opportunities that are created and seizing it. With AI, the cost of creating a feature has gone down. There are features on our parking lot, which have been sitting there for months, which are now getting developed. There are best practices in documentation and test-driven development that once were nice to haves and now are simple and rote to do. Right? These are all things that an entry-level person can do without needing to know how to write a single line of code, right? The AI native methodology is something at CodeBoxx we've been defining, and we've been defining it independent of your workflow. Using AI tools to help you define your problem, create a roadmap, execute your strategy, assess how you're doing, and communicate your results. Using AI tools to define and execute each one of those steps is what we do. The greatest part about that is all it really needs is somebody who can effectively communicate the thoughts inside their mind. Human experience and the English language are both diverse and beautiful enough that somebody who can use them eloquently can use a strong and subtle tool to create a strong product quicker.
Cody, what's your advice to people who are experiencing this and saying, I'm thinking about getting in there, but I don't know. There's always a bit of hesitancy. We like to stay comfortable, right? How would you encourage people to kind of follow the same path that you went on based on everything that Brian Nicholas has been sharing?
Through conversations that I have with people that are interested, but they're on the fence of joining the program, the best thing I can do is, for one, tell them my story, right, my experience, and then just point them towards the 300 plus graduates who have come through this program and gotten jobs, and they're also seeing this in real time. So most of the time I'll say to them, okay, the longer that you wait because you're unsure to do this, the longer it's going to take for you to get a job and be one of these people, right? So you're not going to know until you actually take that leap. And I know it's a scary time, but it's also an exciting time.
It is for sure. It is absolutely for sure. Let's talk about startup founders for just a moment. What advice would you give to the startup founder who may be technically minded, came up with a problem solution, and now these tools are available? How do you think this is changing startups and startup founders right now? Feel free to jump in.
We're seeing it, and Nicholas is going to dive a lot more into this. Right, we see it. We're seeing subject matter experts using tools to take their ideas down the line from this idea in my mind to a product at scale. And we're seeing them hit different various spots in it. And then they're coming to us at CodeBoxx because, let's say I want to create this, but I don't want to code it. Or let's say I want to code it. Or let's say I want to partner with somebody who wants to code it. Each of these are a new level of development that did not exist 3 years ago, allowing entrepreneurs more agency in their digital company. Nicholas, I'd love for you to share some examples.
There is no such thing as a non-technical founder anymore. So
Nice.
like
Right on.
This disappeared. There was this attempt, I want to say 5-6 years ago, when Shopify and Bubble came up, and like there was this like, oh, finally, like I can make my stuff happen low code, no code on my own. And I don't need engineers, and I don't need to call India, and I don't need to call Philippines, and like I can make it happen for myself. And like there was this push that founders had with low code, no code, but it failed because they got lost into customization and into all the like encoding the back channel and the back drop of their applications because it didn't scale. Feels like now with AI being reliable and productive enough, now we're there. Like that, like there was always this aspiration to be a technical founder, but now you can be one for real if you like go in CLI mode with Cloud Code, get your mono repo started, and start like expressing clearly what your vision is, what you want your users to see. Because it's you, there's no layer of lost translation between you and your product manager. And there's no loss in translation between the product manager and when he broke it down into stories that the engineer had to interpret and so that it can implement it. So there is no such thing as a non-technical founder anymore. They can all take their vision, their ideation to POC, even like stretch it to MVP. That fail fast cliche that we hear about all the time. Now it's like a reality. Like you will know really fast if people want what you have to offer, and if it is in the form that you imagined it, or if you need to tweak and tune it a little for people to adopt it. But now you can actually see it much, much faster. Your go-to-market is rocket speed.
So I'm still green in this area, right? But one thing that I was thinking about when everyone was speaking was finding a community, finding a community of other people that maybe already are doing this. If you're unsure, you find this, like we have here at Spark Labs. We have all these startups, right? And we have our brainstorming sessions, and I'll hear people bring an idea, and they'll get all this feedback, and then afterwards I see people talking to one another. People are offering help and giving them tips on how to do this. So I think that's really important on maybe people feeling not technical enough. Find your people that are technical.
I think
But
that's
you,
a great point. And I think that shows some of the evolution, right? Because we look at the evolution of software development, and we're long since the days where a single genius can code out an entire project. It took entire teams creating hundreds of thousands of lines of code. And then AI came and all of a sudden put all that power back in the hands of single individuals and small teams. But now the AI tools are becoming so powerful and so diverse, the tools themselves are becoming challenging for a single individual or small institutions to grasp. It requires communities of like federations of specialized communities all coming together to leverage different AI tools to create an optimum meta system. I'm excited about what's coming.
I love it. And that excitement's infectious. Cody, you said you're kind of new to this, but if you really think about it, you just helped a friend of yours literally become a startup. If you really think about it, you tacked on a technology component to something that was traditionally like a book, and now you've enabled them to move forward. You're doing it. That's got to be very rewarding to know that you can create now virtually just out of the English language, like prompting and working on it, a solution for someone to solve a problem, to get their stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I agree. No, it's exciting. And I always say, if I could do this, I just started learning how to do this back in March of last year, you know. There's really no excuse, I think, anymore to get your hands into one of these and just start at least playing around with it, building something. I think people are going to be a lot more surprised at the barrier of entry to do this is not very high at all.
Nicholas, let's talk about CodeBoxx for a second. Love to hear everybody's thoughts. I find this really unique because we've seen in the past coding academies, we've seen in the past platforms, and you're really becoming like a platform as a service where people can build stuff on top of what you're doing. But explain the vision to why you combined this sort of layer where you've got the technology component and an academy.
CodeBoxx is really born out of a trauma. It's born of let's find a way to quickly train the kind of people I would have liked to hire if I were a CTO, and let's show them the latest greatest tools. It's always been like that. The latest greatest tools to build software the way stakeholders want them for real, so they feel they get the full value of out of their investments. And can spare the frustration of outsourcing their coders in other countries.
But then I'm now curious, how does CrewKit fit into this vision of yours, Nicholas?
So CrewKit is, imagine Claude Code as being a car. So CrewKit is a car with full self-supervised driving. It's like level 5 self-driving capabilities.
Okay.
So one individual or a team can get on CrewKit, and it basically implements all the professions of software development in the form of agents. So you have as many senior developers as you need, they're agents. You have as many testers as you need, they're agents. You have technical writers, you have architects, you have like all the professions that used to be in the hands of humans. Like there used to be roles that we were giving to you. Like we built and we briefed AI, Claude Code, to be those roles. One person orchestrates and dispatches all of those roles at the right time during the build out of a platform. It has been battle tested. We built the hub of the biggest travel agency in Canada with that thing. It's an amazing tool. And in order for it to be amazing and deliver on its promises, you got to learn how to drive it. You got to learn how to be like the right pilot for this. You need to learn how to ask for the right things at the right time. And you need to learn how to be efficient, making sense of the outcome at the end of all of this work and those tokens that you've invested. So this is where I was talking about the burden that shifted at the beginning and at the end of the process.
You are solving a problem you've experienced yourself and the workforce experiences all the time. Brian, I see you then being a key cog in shaping the future of work. We're hearing things about upskilling and reskilling and what's going to happen. You're guiding everybody. How else do you see contributing to this vision? How do you feel about it?
I'm excited, I'm optimistic, I'm challenged, I'm engaged. I believe that we're watching a technology, we're watching a science mature, right? I'm an engineer by trade, by education, so I went to a lot of classes and learned a lot of theory in physics, chemistry, and biology. Those theories were established by people playing with things, finding things that worked and didn't work. The combined experience bubbles up to best practices. Those combined best practices distill into a strong philosophy, which is so strong can be applied to other specific situations. I get to be part of the defining of these philosophies that, Nicholas and I are creating. Cody is the sergeant that's leading the troops. And together we're taking the combined data. And as we stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us, we are creating a foundation which those will build on after we're gone for a long time. That's what excites me, gives me hope. And beyond that, makes me a little proud of the legacy we're creating and going to leave behind.
Legacy is a fantastic word. So, Cody, you've latched your wagon to this. Like, what's in it for you? What are you feeling?
So I've always been about service, right? Serving others is kind of what I was growing up on. And I get great satisfaction by helping other people get this opportunity that I was given, right? So as the student success coordinator, I don't even like calling them students, I call them my team members. I'm with my team members from the day that we speak on the phone through the interview process, through the entire program, and then onward, and that's what's great about CodeBoxx as well is like the training isn't even the focus, right? It's yes, get through the training, but then it's employment and then it's CodeBoxx for life. I mean, this is like a community. That's why I keep coming back to that word community. It's about support. It's about changing your lives. And I love seeing this happen for other people the way that it happened for me.
Nicholas, what's next for CodeBoxx? You've got plans for this. What's going on? How can we help? Give us a scoop.
Well, so we've demonstrated. So the pivot to AI happened about 18 months ago. We demonstrated at CodeBoxx that this thing like not only works but is profitable. The stories you heard about us turning lives around and like having an impact on individuals, we're having that same positive impact at companies. We're the preferred tailor-made solution developer of eBay. Tremendous portion of our workforce is deployed at eBay today. Like we are working the digital transformation of a company that's called in New York. It's called Sala, and we've been with them for like 7 years. Like long-lasting relationship and impactful. We landed at Spark Labs in September, and already we're having like those partnerships with the members within Spark Labs, and we're like making a difference for them as well because like we led some of the dev teams to vibe code. We force them to like see two curves ahead instead of like looking down all the time. So like all of this impact we're having, it's just a matter of fueling the fire so that it rages bigger and warmer. So we kicked off last week our Series A funding. So we relocated in 2021 in St. Pete, Tampa with a seed round. And now we're ready for a Series A. So we're fundraising. Our business is profitable, and our intent is by the end of the quarter to have closed this round and be able to like just have a bigger impact on more markets with the solution, like the end-to-end value chain that we've created. Because the academy is like it's a source of pride. It's just like, but it's also the competitive edge. It's what make us what we are. It's like the people that we train are fully capable and they're AI native. They put to shame people who are very, very scared and protect their turf. And we need to prepare for that. Like that when comes the realization that like I gotta bridge my skills gap. Well, like we need to be there for them because we're going to be the most efficient destination to bridge that skills gap and make them like help them preserve their employment and their job.
Everyone, I'm going to put the information for CodeBoxx in the description of this video. I know a lot of investors who watch my channel and we're associated with and happy to socialize. We don't want to let too many cats out of the bag as far as disclosure of information, break any rules. I want to be safe in that way. But I want to end with this last question. I'm so grateful for an organization like Spark Labs by ARK Invest to not only house us, but bring us together in a community, facilitate these relationships. I can tell you, I was so impressed sitting in Nicolas' workshop and him giving a demo. I've told this story over and over again and just try to inspire other people, other founders. Hey, listen, you don't have to go out and get a technical co-founder. Let's just do this, get to that MVP level, get that traction, those signals. I'd love to hear from each of you. What message do you have to members at Spark Labs, as well as potential members thinking of joining Spark Labs? What message do you have to come join us, be part of our community, and come talk to you? Give them that invitation.
First of all, to the members that are already here, I personally want to thank you for making all of us at CodeBoxx, including the students, feel so much a part of this community. You know, one of the things that I heard Becca say was, if you're coming to Spark Labs as just a co-working space, you know, to kind of come here and work and do your thing, that's not what this is. You know, this is a place where we're going to collaborate and we are going to help each other to be successful. So if that is something that, you know, something that you're looking for, then I think right now is the best time to get into Spark Labs, because I think Spark Labs is going to be blowing up in all the best of ways.
Ed, I remember the session you're talking about. You're talking about the vibe coding office hours, right? That you attended with
Yes,
us.
sir.
I like that was the best session. Like, we vibe coded the Spark Lab CEO's Becca. We vibe coded her dashboard in front of her, like with her eyes. We with one prompt, two reworks, we ended up with like a one page, one view dashboard that unified all of the things that she wanted to see in one look when she starts her day, and from wherever, and it hooked into like many data sources that were far off. So this is the power of vibe coding, and that's what excites me so much. I see it have an impact in every single startup willing to share and drive by our office at Spark Labs and explain what their problem is and like what their aspirations are, and like we make it happen. And we had Bryson from Military Benefits, and we had Brown Smarter with Zane, who joined recently, and it's all because of the synergy that we have amongst members. And like this is a great time to be at Spark Labs.
I agree. There's a saying that I love to read from time to time. If you want to go fast, go alone.
Hmm.
If you want to go far, go together. And together here at Spark Labs, I am confident we're going to go far. And using innovation, we're going to get there pretty fast too, which excites me. Iron sharpens iron. This is something that I love so much. I want to be the sharpest tool in the shed. I want to be the hardest piece of metal that has ever hit this economy. And the only way we can get there at CodeBoxx is by having brilliant, inspired, and engaged partners, the kind like I see in you, Ed, and all of the other people that I see in Spark Labs every day. So for those who are here right now, I thank you. I thank you for your ideas. I thank you for your presence. I thank you for giving us your valuable time and perspective. For those who are considering coming to Spark Lab, you better hurry up. We got something going right here, and we are shouting it from a mountaintop. The best time to join Spark Labs was the first time you heard about Spark Labs. The next best time is right now. I am confident that St. Petersburg attracts the very best and brightest people from all over the world. There are business creators, there are startups, there are devs, there's all kinds of talent. To live in St. Pete is to be part of something that's very special. We are brewing our own cup of something special here at Spark Labs, and I invite you to come taste what we got going.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Brian. You got me so pumped. This has been a little bit of surprise. I feel like just running through a wall with you guys. Okay. So I love it. I love that we're building together. Looking forward to spending more time. Everyone else, if you're on the YouTubes here, like, comment, subscribe, share this message out with everybody. It's so important. The social mission, not only technically what's going on, but what CodeBoxx represents. Appreciation to Spark Labs by ARK Invest. As always, gentlemen, we're going to do this again. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.